Welcome to The Game Changer with Dr. Sharalyn, where purpose meets performance and leaders are built to shift legacies. I'm Dr. Sharalyn Payne, executive strategist, speaker, and the secret weapon behind leaders who drive transformation at the highest levels. Each episode delivers bold truths, power skills, and real-world strategies to help you lead with precision, show up with presence, and build the kind of influence that outlasts trends. This is the space where high-impact decisions are born, where influence is intentional, and where the bold don't just lead, they change the game. So if you're ready to rise, ready to lead, and ready to create the kind of impact that moves markets, missions, and minds, you're in the right place. Welcome back to The Game Changer with Dr. Sharalyn Payne. I am here with a very special guest. The accidental diplomat, Michael Dillard, is here with us today. He's going to be sharing with us some life-changing principles to change not only your life, and I don't say that just to be saying it, but also the way you lead in your family as well as your career. He has some powerful insights. I suggest that you put on a seatbelt, get out your ink pen, and take copious notes. This is going to be truly a game changer for you. Now, the reason why I invited him to the podcast today is because I love having deep, meaningful conversations. And when I spoke with him, I had a page full of notes, and I just wanted more, and wanted to bring this to you. One of the things I'm passionate about is leadership. I would say three things: leadership, culture, and transformation. He has some powerful, game-changing insights on how you lead. And then his story is one for the history books. So with that being said, let's turn it over to Michael. Michael, will you introduce yourself for us, please?
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Sharalyn, for having me on this wonderful podcast. It was a dream come true. You know, I've been listening to some of the nuggets you've been dropping on your other episodes, and I was like, if I can just, be a guest for like 5 minutes, it would be an honor. So thank you for having me on the podcast. Thank you for the great work that you're doing.
Absolutely.
Yes, I am Michael Dillard, the accidental U.S. diplomat, unemployed on a Friday, a U.S. diplomat on a Monday. A story too good to be true.
It is absolutely too good to be true, but guess what? It is, and it's your story. So I want to start with just that. Why don't you share with us how you came to be the accidental diplomat?
I'm going to say one word: resilience. It just hit me. The more people, like I tell the story to and the reaction I get, I say, it's a story of resilience. And I have to take you back to when Michael was a beautiful, baby boy, nice and handsome and all that type of stuff, right? Imagine this. My mom had me when she was age 17, a child raising a child. They got married, tried to make it work. It didn't last. Next thing you know, my mom is raising me and my two other brothers. We were broke, but still living. When the mail lady came, we treated her like she was Santa Claus. Why? Because every month she would drop off an envelope in the mail, $200 full of food stamps, not the paper type EBT, not the EBT plastic. It was the paper food stamp. So when you went to the grocery store, your cousins, your relatives, your neighbors, everybody in the neighborhood knew you were broke. Fast forward, with the hope of Upward Bound, they gave me a vision. They said, Michael, if you get an education, you can unlock doors. Now imagine that. Young 16-year-old young boy, African-American, going to high school. And the only goal is for me to get a high school diploma. Because at that point in time, my mom didn't have a diploma. My dad didn't have a diploma. They dropped out. They got their GED. I persevered through Upward Bound, Austin Peay State University. I became the first person in my immediate family to get a high school diploma.
Wow.
I joined the Army, did 4 years, And now here's another story of resilience, folks. I normally don't tell this story, but I feel like we have time to be a little bit more transparent. I graduated from high school. I did a semester in college and I was working factory, driving 45 minutes up the road, working 50 hours a week. I was tired. I was burnt out. So I joined the military. And at that point in time, I said, okay, I'm going to get this education and get money to help pay for school so I don't have to struggle as hard. 4 years later, after I finished my 4 years serving my country, I came back to that same factory where I was working at Frigidaire, and I saw some of the same people standing on the assembly line, putting pieces together on the stove. And it's kind of like, it's going like this, the line is, it's like time passing you by. Fortunately for me, I decided to pivot, to
Wow.
change my trajectory. And here's the funny part. There was a job that said that they're going to pay like 50% more than just working on an assembly line if you have the skills to be able to read electricity, to be able to read schematics. Guess who just so happened to learn that in the Army? The one
Oh,
and only Michael Dillard. Wow. I'm pausing because there's another story that's going to be just like this story. But that changed my trajectory, doctor, because I pivoted. A lot of people just stay stuck where they're at. They're not willing to take one step back to go two steps forward.
that's powerful.
I'll pause there because I know you probably have some questions as I continue my story, my journey of how I became the accidental U.S. diplomat. And this is why I say it's accidental. See, folks, a child growing up on food stamps, single mother household, it's not supposed to happen.
Wow, that's powerful. Thank you for sharing that with us. It's a lot, right? But you did it. You overcame, and that's what it's all about. It's like you said, you're being in a place, find yourself in a place through no fault of your own. But how do you take responsibility, listen to the people who are around you, and be able to take that information and do something productive with it? A lot of times we get feedback. We have voices in our ear, you should do this or you should do that, or what about this? And especially when you are a pioneer, when you're the first, you don't really know whose advice to take. You're fighting with yourself and your family. And then this voice out here, I was listening to something, not to take away, this past weekend, but a woman that I admired. And she was sharing her story about how the building she was currently standing in, that as a child, she had no dreams and she had to go over to this particular building to trade for food or to buy groceries on credit. And now
Wow.
she actually owned that land. And so those
Powerful.
type of stories are so powerful because we don't have some of us don't have, people who are pushing us to dream and to overcome. But I like to say that, your steps were ordered, right? Things were connected for you. You got connected with Upward Bound. And if you can
Mm-hmm.
share with us what Upward Bound is for those who don't know about it, I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, so I know about Upward Bound
Okay.
and being a first generation college student myself. So I've had some of those steps and, just I would say whispers in my ear. But can you just share with us what is Upward Bound for the people who don't know what that is?
Yes, Outward Bound is a program that's based in high school. And the goal is to take students that come from low income households, students where their parents never went to college, students that are minority, get them together, bring them together every weekend, and provide them tutoring services. And as they go from ninth grade to 10th grade to 11th grade, during the summer, they're spending time together to become more culturally aware. For example, I remember learning the game of tennis.
Hmm.
Now, you might think that's something trivial. Like, why would they teach you how to play tennis, teach you to score? Imagine you're 20 years old, you're at a restaurant with your colleagues, and they're watching the tennis match, and now you have no idea what's going on. But the fact that you were exposed to that, you know how to keep score, you fit in. And that's what Upward Bound is meant to do, is to help people who don't have opportunities to fit in to society, to experience other things that middle class families experience. But most importantly, to help you with your education. So they provided tutoring services. They helped fill out my financial aid application. Sounds small, but my mom didn't go to college and my
Right.
dad didn't go to college.
Right.
So who was going to help me? So they helped me to be able to apply for college. I got in, and the rest is history, which will continue the rest of my story as we keep going.
Yes, let's keep going 'cause I want you to tell us about the accidental diplomat. I'm like sitting on
You
the
want
edge
to
of
know
my
about the
seat, right?
actual
Right, exactly. I
diplomat
already know,
story?
but I love to hear it. It's so mind-blowing to me. So let's tell them about the accidental diplomat.
Yes. Okay. So I'm back, did my time in the Army, going to school, get my college degree. I graduate. I'm happy, got my bachelor's degree. But then the next day I was sad, folks. You see, I got the 4 year degree. I did what was hard for 4 years, but the only job offers I had was to continue to work as a customer service rep answering phones. But at that time, I wanted to work for the bank. I wanted to help people with their money. They kept saying, Michael, you have no experience. Denied. Michael, you have no experience. Denied. I went back and I looked up at Middle Tennessee State University career opportunities, and I saw an internship, 10-week internship paying minimum wage. I thought to myself, should I take this internship making less money than I'm making right now just for that experience? I said, why not? That's what I'm missing. That's going to be my key to success. Apply for the internship. I got it. First day, I was embarrassed. Why? Because I see freshmen, sophomore, and juniors who are doing internships. And here I am, a college graduate, just now doing an internship for the experience. But guess one thing I did, and I knew, mark your work with excellence. 10 weeks went by, no guarantee that I would get hired, but I wanted that experience. They came and tapped me on the shoulder, said, Michael, we want to hire you. Talk about, favor. One step back to go 2 steps forward, folks, again. And then the job paid more. It allowed me to go back and get my MBA in personal finance, all because I chose to take 1 step back to go 2 steps forward. Now I'm making good money, working at Dell Computers, wearing flip-flops, shorts, and a t-shirt. Picture that. More money, more money. Got married. Life is good. And then the little development book said, Michael, time to go back and get your master's in accounting. I'm like, again? Why? Okay, question, Michael. When you're driving to work, do you listen to a cassette tape? No. I listen to CDs. Now, some of y'all are laughing. I know. Okay, when it's time to watch a movie, I know you pop in that VHS tape. No, I pop in that DVD. And now some of y'all are even laughing now. Don't let it be the Blu-ray. Okay, we'll pause there. Exactly. So technology changes, life changes. You need to change as well. I go back and I study to get my master's in accounting. And at this time, I'm working in Nashville, Tennessee. Say, if I get this degree, I can go work at the corporate Dell headquarters in Texas. As soon as I got my degree, my supervisor came and tapped me on the shoulder. Michael, we got to let you go. Oh, no, I'm visualizing myself. My wife is pregnant. What are we going to do? Month 1, I applied for a job, no job. Month 2, no job. Month 3, no job. Now, some of y'all are thinking, Michael, how did you survive financially? We'll talk about that, but I believe in the 5 financial steps, the SAVER program, which is to make sure you have life insurance, you put money in your 401k. So I had a reserve set aside. Finally, I get a job interview to work as an assistant manager in the mall. My wife said, Michael, don't take it. Don't do it. I'm like, honey, the baby's coming. We got to pay the bill because the money we have saved over here is going to run out at some point in time. She's like, don't do it. I'm saying, I got to go. I'm sorry. I get in the car, I drive to the interview. Oh, time out. You got
Yeah,
time out?
time out, time out.
Okay, okay. All
Your
right.
wife, your pregnant
Yes.
wife,
Pregnant
tells
wife.
you not to take a job when you guys are tapping into your reserves
Yes.
and she's not hitting the panic button.
No.
So you had a true support system.
True support system. One of
Wow.
faith.
You chose right. You chose well. So that's a whole nother topic that we got to bring you
Oh,
back for is how to choose well. Because I truly believe that your partners, man, they could make or break you. Okay, so I just have to say that. So go on with the story.
we
Sorry.
need to see if we can get her on the interview because I'm telling you, I keep telling her she needs to, her faith and her testimony will bless others. That's all I'm going to
Wow.
say.
Yeah, you got me almost in tears right here. So go ahead. Go ahead. Let me get it back together.
All right. So picture this, y'all. I'm in the mall because my wife wanted to come with me. So I'm in the mall interviewing. She's walking around praying that I don't get the job. Now, what type of wife does that?
Right.
Who goes to the interview with you and is against you? Needless to say, when you work in corporate, folks, and you got to compete for jobs and promotions, you learn how to interview real good. Because when you get cut once, twice, and you don't get that job, third time is a charm. You learn how to make sure. That's another thing. There's no way that even though they want John to get the job, they can't deny you. That's another tip for the later day. And so I was ready. I knew I was going to pass this interview. I competed with the best. So the next day, we're home. I'm excited, waiting for the job offer. But I get an email. It says financial controller interview, Washington, D.C. So I started looking through the email, doctor, and it says that you have to pass an oral interview, a written interview, and a group exercise. And if you can pass all that, you got to pass a medical background for you and your entire family. You also have to pass a top secret security clearance, one in which they talk to your neighbor, they talk to your professors, they talk to your girlfriend, your exes. Oh, they go get all the juicy gossip out of you. And your high school principals. They gonna go way back. So I'm like, what type of job is this? So I Google USAID financial controller. I started reading down. And at this point in time, it says you will be giving a diplomatic passport and travel the world. This is when I realized I accidentally applied to be a U.S. diplomat, to travel the world, to represent America, to manage U.S. payer taxes, like millions, $100 million projects, $300 million. I was managing 500 million at one point. So to spill the beans, I passed the job interview. I passed the top secret security clearance, and the one thing that was required to get the job is that I had to have a master's in accounting. Oh, that's how
Wow.
I went from being unemployed on a Friday to a U.S. diplomat on a Monday.
That is wow. So when you think about the fact that what if you did not have those reasoning skills to convince yourself, I need to go back to school and invest in myself. And so what you thought you were going to do, I'm going to say God had something bigger, but it took you doing your part, getting that degree, and
Yes.
he moved you out of that because he had something more for you. And it could have looked like disappointment, but he was setting you up for something far greater. Okay, so I want to know, what did your wife say when she
My
found
wife,
this out?
about the job, she was like, Michael, I told you something better was coming. Not to say that being a store manager or anything like that is
Right.
nothing to be respected, but I saw your work. I saw how you work with people, and I just knew that you had a greater calling on you.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yes, amazing.
So, with that, what is the one leadership or transformation principle you would actually share just with that part with our audience?
I would say adapt, right? In my lead with impact framework, L stands for listen, E stands for empower, A stands for adapt, D stands for develop. So A is adapt. You have to be willing to adapt your skills, adapt your viewpoint, and adapt your reasoning and who you're listening to. You see, I was listening to my wife, but at some point I wasn't, right? But it worked out.
Hmm. Wow. What's the hardest thing you had to, I guess I would say, endure during that process?
Ooh, the hardest thing I had to endure was waiting because I knew I was going to pass the top secret security clearance. 'Cause I was one of those people who was like, I'm just going to do me. Y'all do you. I'm good. I had roommates and friends who did different things, but I just believed in myself. I said, no, what? Don't fall to peer pressure. Be happy doing what you enjoy in life. So that was the hardest thing, was just waiting to like get that diplomatic passport in my hand.
So you got the passport in your hand, and now what?
Then this is what a lot of people don't realize about being a US diplomat. You have to learn a foreign language if you don't already know one. Well, I'm sorry. I grew up in Clarksville, Tennessee. I didn't know Spanish, French, or any other foreign language. So as soon as I passed the orientation class, off to Spanish training I went. I learned Spanish for about 6 months. And then I was off with my family on an airplane, bags packed, household items shipped, going to the Dominican Republic to work. And that was a wonderful experience. And then we moved, went to Zambia. Then I went to Afghanistan for a year by myself while my family stayed back in the US by themselves. Off to the Democratic Republic of Congo together. Then South Africa, I was a regional financial controller managing a $500 million portfolio for Angola, Botswana, Eswatini, Lesotho, Namibia, and South Africa. Wonderful experience. Then I came back to the US because we had been traveling for years and I wanted my kids to enjoy what America had to offer to make sure that they were culturally grounded.
Awesome. Awesome. Perfect. So let me ask you, during those experiences, did you ever have to manage people?
Ooh, did I ever have to manage people? Every day you're managing people. And here's another story. You pull out all the juicy stories for me. The one that's never been told.
Let's hear it.
When I went to the Dominican Republic, I've been there as a new U.S. diplomat. And 6 months later, I was put in charge of leading a government assessment of the Dominican Republic. Why? Because the U.S. government was looking to see if we wanted to have like a education program with that government. So the mission director, the person in charge of all the resources, all the funds, decided that Michael Dillard, the 6 month newly minted diplomat, was going to lead the entire assessment. I could not believe it. But once again, I knew when you study, when you're ready, you're resilient, you mark your work with excellence, you can do everything. You can do anything. So I took that opportunity. I ended up leading the local staff, leading seniors that was above me, leading people that was back in the US. I was working with the government officials for the Dominican Republic. We worked together to complete an assessment. And later on, we were able to work with them on a small youth project. So that was like leading different people and bringing them together was something that I didn't know that I was going to be able to do. But it was a great experience because one thing that a lot of people who are not culturally aware is that there's social norms. If you don't acknowledge the janitor, the people ain't going to look out for you. They're going to be resistant. Little things like, hi, how are you doing when you walk up the doorsteps? Yeah, you got the title and everything, but you need to greet the guard when you come into the building. You need to be able to walk down the hallway and recognize people. And I'm bringing that story up is because it's emotional intelligence. So what I learned is that by having emotional intelligence as a leader, you're able to accomplish great things. And that's why I was successful.
I love that story, and it's so true. I remember years ago, I know I don't look this old, but many, many moons ago, I used to teach school. And someone asked me, well, why do you talk to the cafeteria staff and the janitorial staff? And for
Hmm.
me, they were people, right? It could be people
Of
who look
course.
like somebody in my family, but even if they didn't, they are still human and deserve respect. And I would still share with leaders today. It doesn't matter if it's the person who's in the mailroom. You don't know if the mailroom person is going to be the CEO one day or the person who gives you the information that you need to know. It could be the person who you're in a building and you pass out and they're the only person who can revive you. It's so much that can go on in our lives, right? That it's just nice to be nice. And that's just something my mother always taught us. It's just nice to be nice. I mean, then you hear people say that nice people finish last, right? Or the nice guys don't win.
Hmm.
And I disagree with that. I think that, you can be nice and you still can hold people accountable and still be respectful. But I want to just kind of hone in on that point because sometimes we believe, or people believe, that when you have the title, you don't have to be nice and kind and respectful to people. You don't have, they are to honor you. You don't have to honor them. And I have a saying, because I am a woman of faith, is that honor is the currency of the kingdom. If you want more, then you must honor more. And honor doesn't, it's not just reserved for the people with the titles and the big checks and the reserved parking spaces. It's for each person that you encounter, including the homeless person that's on the street that you may laugh or turn your nose up. It could be you. And that's just a powerful way to lead because it forces you to be present. It forces you to have, to get the information that you need, right? You're having engaging conversations. You're becoming more well-rounded. You're growing and stretching in ways that you don't even recognize. And people are watching you and they begin to admire that. And so they don't know why they admire you. They don't know why they respect you or follow your lead. It could be just something as simple as that. Or they'll share with you, hey, boss, I heard XYZ. Hey, they were talking, whatever the case is. But you learn to listen, keep your ears open, and just be kind and respectful while still getting the job done. So I want to point that out. Something else I want to ask you though, because this is what I love to wonder. With all of that, did you ever, working as a US diplomat, did you ever in your experience encounter people who were not A performers, A players on the
Ooh.
team? Did you ever,
Ooh.
and were any of those leaders? Because I have some
Oh,
stories.
yes
Ooh, I want to hear
and
it.
yes.
Okay, how did you deal with that?
The first time I failed dealing with low staff that wasn't trained up, that's what I realized. I was working in a country and I got there and a lot of the systems and process weren't there. The knowledge wasn't there. I was shocked. I was like, how can this happen? How can somebody be working at this particular location for 10 years and not know the basics, not know the fundamentals? And then what also shocked me was that why did senior leadership allow this to happen?
Mm.
I'm going to give you a simple example. Imagine there's an office of, we had like say 300 employees. And my job as a financial controller was to process payments, manage the budget, and do internal controls, audits, managing the payments. So if any employee in the office went on a trip, they're going to submit their voucher. Our office would have to pay it. The electricity bill would have to be paid as well. Let's go back to 300 people. That location had one voucher examiner and one supervisory voucher examiner. And with internal controls, the voucher examiner has to review it. Then it goes to the supervisor, and then it would come to me or someone else. if the voucher examiner is behind and people are complaining that things are taking a long time, you would think that you would hire three voucher examiners.
Right.
It never came to people's mind that the bottleneck is not the person, it's the resources that's available. I saw that and realized that you as a leader, you can't rely on your superiors to take care of you. You can't rely on your superiors to manage you and your resources. You as the leader, you need to manage your team and advocate for the resources that you need to be successful. And that's exactly what I did. Had a meeting with senior leadership, like, look, these are some of the issues we need to resolve. Here's how we can resolve it. As a result, I was able to clean it up. Then there was an issue with some of the financial transactions that were kind of not reconciled properly. I fixed it, but at a cost. People were complaining. My staff didn't like it. I was confused. I had just taken care of one of the biggest financial issues that was plaguing that particular entity. But people were upset because I was too task focused.
Mm.
I didn't do the walk around. I didn't say, hey, how are you doing? I was too busy putting fire after fire after fire out. Fast forward, I learned my lesson. I realized where I went wrong. I started being a leader that listens. And when I say listen, there's a story I like to tell. It's Friday. You are going to drive down to the beach. And one supervisor says, hey, what are you going to be doing at the beach? Oh, I'm going to spend time with my family. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. The other supervisor hears it as well. So come Monday morning, the one supervisor heard you, but they didn't acknowledge it. The first thing they're saying, hey, I need you to do this task right now. You're probably like, man, I'm trying to relax. Just got back. I'm in vacation mode. A little irritated, you know. But imagine this. The second supervisor comes up to you and say, how was the trip to Florida? Did you catch any fish? You go scuba diving? You do anything? Oh, we had a great time. Went to this new restaurant. Oh, that's glad to hear. When are you going back? Oh, 2 months. Oh, good, good. Okay, next time, hey, catch some more fish. By the way, got this project. There's a tight deadline. Can you help us work on it? Now, most employees are going to feel more gravitational pull towards the second supervisor to help them. And this is where leaders, you got to be able to stop and recognize and listen. Listen to the words that are coming out of your employee's mouth. It's not always about the project. It's about what they're saying, how they're feeling, and how you make them feel. So
That's good.
pause. Another quick tip for my leaders. Meet with each one of your team members and just meet with them for 30 minutes and ask them this one question. Before you joined the organization, what were you doing before? Don't ask about current work or anything like that. You will be amazed at what you will learn from that one question. I hope I answered your question because I got like 10 different stories, ways I could have went with that.
No, you did answer my question. But now this leads to another question. Before you joined the organization, what were you doing before? Tell us, why is that question important? You're going to learn something
Beef.
about them, but what is it that they should be listening for? And what is it? Because some of them don't know, right? They're just asking the question, or will ask the question, but don't know how to apply the information. What insights should they be listening for?
Ooh, that's a good one. Okay, so basically, here's what you're doing. Let me put you in a scenario. Imagine I ask you, come to my office on Tuesday. I put a calendar invite and it just says check in. You're whispering, like, why is Michael trying to meet with me? Oh, he's just doing the check in. That's it? Yeah, just check in. So you come, you sit down, we close the door. I say, hey, how's the day going for you? Oh, it's going good. Where did you work at before you started working here? You used to work for the government? Oh, okay. And what were you doing? And you're imagining a team of 20 people? Oh, my. So as you're asking these questions and you're hearing about them, you start to realize that some of your employees have valuable skills that you can tap into. and they're not being used. You also can tap into what motivated them to come work at the current company that they're at. Some employees might say they believe in the mission. The question you have to ask yourself is the work that they're doing right now helping them to fulfill that obligation, to help with the mission? If not, what can you do to help them with that? Some employees just wanted a scenery change. Some employees heard that y'all are doing great work and they want to be part of the mission. Now, if you're a voucher examiner making payments, you might be thinking to yourself, well, how can I be a part of the mission if I'm paying the water bill, electricity bill? Have an opportunity for that employee to go on a visit to a project that's 2 hours away or 30 minutes down the road, or be a part of team meetings with the other technical teams so they can hear the work that y'all are doing and the impact that it's making. So that's why you're asking those questions. You're not asking about work. You're not giving them new work. You're trying to find out who they are as a person.
I love that because that's one of the things I share with leaders is we have to find a way to connect. And one of the things that would frustrate me was sitting in meetings with leaders and we're speaking about projects or the mission, right? What we're working on, what we're up against, what our competitors are doing. And we always think we have to go outside to find the talent that you need that could be inside. Just because I'm here, just like you decided to take a step back to go 2 steps forward. I've done the same thing in my career. I've decided, okay, this is the missing piece. Let me take a step back here so that I can grab this piece that I need and be able to do this over here. But sometimes our ego wants us to believe that, you know what? I'm in this position. I'm the smartest person in this position. Everybody under me, they're under me for a reason, not knowing what skill sets they have, where they've worked, where they've come from, what they're doing behind the scenes, private time, what they desire to do, what's next for them. You never ever know how you can leverage that person, that information, and make it a win for you and a win for them, where you help them to exceed their own expectation. Why are you here? What did you do before? And that's the game changer. And so I want to just encourage us to begin to ask that question. Tell them the question again. I have it written down, but I want them to hear you say it.
Yeah, so what you want to do is you want to schedule a check-in meeting with each one of your employees every quarter. Then when they come into your office and you sit down, the question that you want to ask them is, before you were working here, where were you working at and what were you doing? They will answer the question and then you say, okay, why did you choose to work here? That's your follow-on question. At that point in time, now you can start to dig into, hey, are you fulfilling as an organization their current needs? Is it what they expected? You can also go back and if a leader said they were managing 20 people, you can find out, okay, here, are you looking to grow and continue to manage other people in other divisions? Or are you happy being when you're at right now? Because also you got to look at team morale. What motivates the person? That's an underlying tone of why you're having a conversation. You're really trying to figure out what motivates that particular employee. Some people are motivated by doing new and exciting things. Mm-hmm. Some people, they might be burnt out from their last job and they just want a mental break. They don't want to manage anybody but themselves.
Yes.
So you might be trying to get that person to, hey, take on this extra responsibility, do this, do that, not realizing they're in a chill mode at this point in time. They're taking a little reset to focus on them.
Love it, love it, love it. Love it. Wow. That's some good stuff. And you went a step further. So I hope you guys caught that. I asked him to go back over the question. Not only did he go, you talk about excellence and a high performer, not only did you go over the question, you gave them a process and then a timeline, right? A cadence of what you should be doing, what you should look for. So this is a game changer. Okay, it's time for us to wrap up, but I want to ask you one more thing. If leaders apply just one thing, I truly believe in the power of one. You don't have to do 15 different things. What's the one thing that if they can take from this conversation, What shift would they see in their leadership, their culture, or their results? Just one.
Of the L for listen, E empower, A adapt, and D develop. I'm gonna go with a curveball. E empowerment. Because some of y'all supervisors and leaders are empowering the wrong people. So get a piece of paper out right now, get something to write with. Here's what I want to do. I'm gonna give you some homework on a piece of paper. Right here is 0, up here is 10. 10 is for motivation. Okay, 10 is motivation. Come back down here, 0. Over here to the right is 10. Is skill level, meaning how proficient are they with their job and with their organization. So that's a 10. So I want you to start to put names in boxes. Names, okay, John, he's a 3 in motivation and he's a 5 in skills. What you're going to notice is that you need to empower the ones that are in the upper right box, who are 8 in motivation and 8 in skill. Motivate those people, delegate more tasks to them, and you're going to probably cut at least 5 hours out of your work day every week.
Wow, that's great. That's a powerful shift. And so now you have homework. So I want to see you do your homework. Leave us a comment. This has been absolutely amazing. I can talk to you all day. This is not even the tip of the iceberg for what we talked about in our private conversation, but we'll love to be able to bring you back again. You have some more stories to share with our audience. I really want to get into the financial aspect, right? And so that
Yes.
saver method and process, love the lead for impact. So we have much more to go. We're definitely going to have you back again. Now, let's talk to our audience about how they can connect with you.
Yes. So organizations, they're looking to bring me in to change the culture within your organization. Go to michaeldillardspeaks.com. michaeldillardspeaks.com. Now you're saying, hey, I'm not an organization or HR department. How can I benefit? I got you. If you go to the website, you scroll down at the bottom, there's a free leadership burnout kit for you. And it also has some financial tools that you can use. Because trust me, I've coached so many high performing executives who were burnt out. And when they applied these methods, they were able to get their time back. That's how folks can reach me.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for that. So go to the website now, take the assessment, download your free tools, and then connect with Michael if you're looking to transform your leadership or your culture. Thanks, Michael, for being on with us for the Game Changer with Dr. Sharalyn. Folks, I'll see you guys next week. You don't lead like everyone else, so your resources shouldn't look like everyone else's. I created the Game Changer Leadership Collection for high impact leaders like you, visionaries, change agents, decision makers who lead with intention and influence. This free high impact resource pulls from my leadership arsenal and delivers immediate actionable insights you can use right now to elevate your influence, lead with conviction, and drive lasting transformation. It's not just a toolkit, it's your first step toward leading at the level you were born for. Let me show you what's inside. The Leadership Edge Sampler. It's a preview of my 10 daily power skills to sharpen your influence and impact. The Influence Language Mini Guide. Essential phrases to increase your authority and build trust in every room you walk into. The Leadership Blind Spot Snapshot. Because the greatest risk are the ones we don't see. The power of one visual aid. A reminder that even one decision, one tone, or one conversation can shift a team or stall a movement. The Executive Briefing Checklist, a go to tool for high stakes communication that drives clarity and alignment. The 5 minute accountability brief, a no fluff framework to build a culture of ownership fast. And we have the Game Changer Ascension Model Overview, my proprietary leadership growth map to help you scale your influence with intention. These are the very same tools I use with executives, culture shapers, and elite teams, leaders who know what's at stake and aren't here to play small. Because when you're called to shift systems, influence nations, and build legacies, you can't afford to lead on autopilot. This is where your next level begins. Download the Game Changer Leadership Collection today. It's free, it's strategic, and it's built for leaders who are born to shift the game. I'm Dr. Sharalyn Payne, and this is your Leadership Edge. Thank you for joining me on the Game Changer with Dr. Sharalyn, where we don't follow trends, we set them, and we don't just lead teams, we shift legacies. If today's message challenged, stretched, or inspired you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it, tag it, lead through it, because real leaders don't just consume wisdom, they multiply it. Want to go deeper? Subscribe to the Ultra Influential newsletter for exclusive tools, behind-the-scenes strategy, and weekly mindset shifts for the leader ready to move nations, markets, and minds. Visit www.smpistrategies.com or send a note to leadership@smpistrategies.com. And if you're ready for next level coaching or consulting that positions you as the right leader at the right time in the right place, let's talk. This is what we do, and we do it with precision, power, and purpose. Remember, change isn't just something you lead, it's something you become. Stay bold, stay brilliant, stay a game changer.